Well, hey, welcome back. It's the North Florida Sports Network. It's almost football season. We got a game this Saturday. Florida State does against Georgia Tech. Across the pond in Dublin, Ireland. I can't believe it's already here.
That was quick, man.
It really was. I mean, the depth charts are out already. I mean, I haven't even had a chance to preview the wide receivers yet.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, we're just going to do all of it. We're going to preview the depth chart, maybe do some wins and losses one final time before the first game is kicked off. We are going to predict the scores for the game at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. We'll also have player of the game predictions. It's going to be a big one. Game day will be there this Saturday, but the preview show for this season and this roster starts right now. Welcome back. Man.
Yep. 1 week.
It's crazy.
Less than a week. 6 days.
Because now I've been playing that NCAA game way too much, my family thinks. But
this time next week,
right,
it'll be the first post game.
Yeah, instant reaction.
Whew.
We're coming up on the 300th episode that we've done. It's hard to believe that too.
Wow.
This will be the third season.
All right.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. All right. Let's start with the depth chart, man. Let's get right into it, man. So it was released earlier, and a lot of the positions we knew, but it's, you know, when it's out there, you can really talk about lineups.
I mean, with the depth chart, they always, well, for one thing you'll notice is Florida State lists on offense and defense 12 positions, even though you can only have 11 men on the field. So they're throwing out they're throwing out that extra wide receiver.
Well, they have
that extra defensive back when it suits.
If you've played the game, you know that there's different lineups for nickel packages. There's different lineups for 3 wide receiver packages.
Right.
So that's pretty much you're going to get.
Yeah, and
so you need a starting up front 7 and probably 5 DBs. That's probably what you're going to get on defense. And then on offense, you need 3 wide receivers, and the fullback's pretty much gone. They're not going to list that, so they'll list 3 wides.
Right, and you'll have
the
both
tailback or running back, however you want to call it. But we'll start on offense, and DJ Uwe.
Yeah, I think we all knew that was gonna, you know, he didn't come here to not start, not be the guy.
I'm excited about this project. I have been since, you know, it started to develop in the recruitment process just a few months ago. But in terms of the roster you had on your coming back, you needed to get a guy with this season.
Yeah, steady presence, somebody that's you know, played a lot of college football, been in a lot of situations physically, that you get in. And I mean, like we talk about, man, the best game he ever played, in my opinion, was in Doak. So, I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm anxious to see what it looks like.
Right. I'm nervous about that too, and I just hope that he comes out well prepared. He doesn't need to do as much as he had to do in Oregon State. You would believe, you know, just maintain yourself. Don't do too much. Yeah,
and I think a lot of what he did at Oregon State, I mean, he's, you know, it's kind of what you need him to do here. I mean, he had weapons at Oregon State. He's going to have plenty of weapons here. He's going to have a really strong running game from all reports and accounts, and that's going to help a lot. I think that
I'm fired up about the running game.
Yeah, and that's really the biggest help, I think, is that this running game on paper should be every bit as good as last season. I'm hoping for a little bit more out of it, a little more dominance out of it, just because of the numbers that you have up there.
I like the mixture of talent that you have in the backfield, but before we get there, we will say the rest of the quarterback.
Right. You got number 2 is Brock Lynn. He's going to be your backup, unquestioned backup going into it, obviously. But Luke Kromenhoek, I guess, if you're Reese Davis. Being number 3, that says a lot, man. It's a true freshman. I know he enrolled early, but still, that as we saw last year, you may play as a true freshman here. And
right.
So there you go.
You're a snap away.
Right. You got a young QB room.
I feel good about if something were to happen to DJ. I feel good about both those guys, really, if they had to play.
Yeah.
I know obviously
due to the run game being a strength would help.
Yeah.
Hopefully being a strength, I should say.
I don't really feel that. That's just fake confidence, honestly.
Right.
If you saw that ACC championship game.
Well, nobody should feel confident.
But Brock Lynn's got a lot to prove. He doesn't want to be remembered for that. And, he can't.
Sounds like he's made a lot of positive steps.
I'm anxious to see with those backups what kind of strides they've made towards getting over those deer in the headlights kind of look where you can't do anything. There's nothing being able to be done there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. We've seen a lot of it.
It limits your play calling.
Right.
So, all right, let's go to running back, and this is where it just gets fun to simulate if you want to try to forecast.
Right. This is
based on the numbers.
Outside of defensive tackle, this is probably your deepest position on the team.
Yep.
You start with
loves to have a lot of guys.
Yeah, you start with Roydale Williams, and he is. He kind of built like Trent Richardson. If you're going to compare him to another Alabama running back, I think he's faster. I think he's a better pure running back than Trent Richardson was.
Really?
Yeah. Vision and everything like that. Like Richardson
Trent was a freak.
Well, yeah, and he had a monster O-line that just destroyed everybody. Got to the NFL, couldn't see anything. I'm excited for Roydale Williams. Just like DJ, I'm excited to see what
he's going to step into that Benson role.
Right, but I think he can be a little bit more complete than Benson. But I don't know that they're going to ask him
different types of running
I don't know that they're going to ask
him. More of a home run hitter.
Right. And his backups, man. You got guys, and this is just one running back spot where you have Keziah
big guys.
Holmes,
you got Keziah Holmes
or Cam Davis, and that's a distinction that's also on this depth chart a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that by design, Florida State and really a lot of teams, pretty much every team, they're going to play.
They're going to play both those guys. They don't want to upset any of them. They both earned that spot.
Yeah,
and it's not an official. There's no penalty for it. But, so you're going to see that across the board.
And there's, it's a starting 11, a starting 22, if you will, but they're going to play up to about 35 to 40 different players that they feel comfortable playing.
Big guys. You got Roydale Williams from Alabama. Didn't get a lot of run there, but the potential's there.
It just got crowded.
When he did get in.
Yeah, the running back room just got really crowded, and it continues to be that way over there.
But Keziah Holmes is a guy that's
another guy ran into
under the radar,
problem.
And he's been here a little bit, and still kind of flying under the radar.
Right,
came in a little late during the season.
Well, he came in as a walk-on. Remember, he just kind of left Penn State on his own and just sort of walked on and joined the team. I think he knew that he would be on scholarship eventually. Yeah, but him and Toa-Philly were in the same class coming out of high school.
And then there you go, right there, Toa-Philly, and that's a guy that is your leader. I love his attitude. I love he doesn't mind sharing the ball or doing anything that he needs to be doing.
That Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
there,
and you're going to see him all over the place. I'm excited for that. They have DJ, have a guy like that where he can just hey, I'm in the backfield. No, I'm going to go to the slot on the in motion. You know, just something like that.
And when DJ was successful at Clemson, he had that.
Right.
You know, he had
a guy behind him who's really good in the game, Jalen Lucas, is a guy you've been excited about.
Right. And I think you know, you'll see them at the same position on the depth chart because they'll do a lot of the same things in terms of lining up all over the place, all over the field. You know, he's going to be just pure speed. And Jalen Lucas might be, you know, he might be the fastest player on the team.
And then you got Samuel Singleton Jr. listed.
Right.
And he's the other freshman with Cam Davis, gets a lot of the
right, Sam Singleton.
Publicity, but I'll tell you what, you've been excited about both those guys since day one.
Right, and you can't forget about Micah Danzy.
Yes.
And I don't know how much he'll factor into this season, but ever since since he stepped on campus, he's been showing out.
And
so they'll find a way to get that speed involved. But like I said, the running back room is very, very stacked. You go in, you transition out to the wide receivers
where there are guys.
Yeah, there's guys. There's just not a lot of productivity that hit at the college level. Guys. Right. You know, Malik
Is there
Benson,
anybody is Malik Benson a guy that you feel good about?
Well, I mean, everything I've read and heard people say is that he's probably the most consistent.
Well, he's listed at wide receiver 1 as a starter.
And his speed is home run hitter speed. Mm-hmm. You think of Terry, you think of Pokey Wilson even, but he's a bigger, more physical presence than either one of those guys. But he takes the top off of the defense.
His backup is another and it starts with Kentron Poitier.
Right. And he's been banged up in a
guy that's been a lot of promise since he stepped on,
Hakeem?
No, Poitier.
Poitier.
He looked like a solid route runner. You'd hear a lot of good things in practice, but it's never really came to fruition on the field. I know some injuries have been in play as well. But Hakeem is the guy with the pictures, the photos, the athletic body. Right, coming into his own a little bit before the injury last year.
Yeah, and he came in highly touted. He was 5-star or whatever on some recruiting sites. And he's got a physical presence, and his build is. We don't have another receiver like him.
Right, there's people get you excited, but you want to see consistency.
And they're young; they haven't had a ton of reps. You go out to the other wide receiver spot, and Ja'Kai Douglas, who isn't young. I mean, he's been here a while. He's had a lot of clutch plays the last couple of years.
Game.
Yeah,
game we were
big
at.
Game.
Came up big.
Miami here a couple years ago on that wheel route.
Yeah,
there are others, but he's been a big presence in the wide receiver room. You have a veteran.
And then you got another weapon that is explosive, but
he's a lot like
Deuce Span.
Oh yeah, Deuce.
I was talking about backing up him, and then the name that they got him on here is Elijah Moore. And that's the freshman.
That's another or situation right there.
No, they don't have it as
I know, but it's another or situation. Elijah Moore, he's going to play. I don't know if it's going to be like early in the season, but eventually they're going to have to put him on the field. And Deuce Span, I mean, this is it. You're a redshirt senior. This is your last go. It's time to prove it. I mean, he's got some of the best speed on the team. We saw it on that kickoff return. It's just about putting it together.
Well, your slot or wide receiver 3 position, Jalen Brown listed
this was a big one for me, man. This is a redshirt freshman. Hasn't played it down in college football.
Yep.
He's coming in. He's taking the spot over a fifth-year senior who's been here for the long haul, and then Williamson is sharing that backup spot with another true freshman,
Wayne McCoy.
Yeah, that what that says is slot receiver is going to be. That's where you're going to see the young guys make an impact. Immediately. And Jalen Brown, man.
Well, it just shows you that Poitier and Williamson have been passed up. was some that you never really.
They got recruited over, man, and they were guys that they went and got in the first class that they needed, that they thought they could depend on, or that they had traits that maybe develop over time. But Jalen Brown, man, like you watch his high school film, he looks just like Rashad Greene. I think the issue has been his hands aren't anywhere near as consistent as Rashad, but to be starting at that slot spot, at that wide receiver 3 spot, it says something. So I'm excited to see that.
Right. Well, we because they wide receiver position in particular, you're losing a lot. I mean, you're losing
and I get it. Everybody's been bagging on it because they don't got any receivers. Well, nobody.
But I like that though. It gives them something to
prove. At one point, Peter Warwick didn't have a ton of catches in his career either. Right. Eventually, new guys got to step up.
And with the running backs that you mentioned and the ability to throw to those running backs, it really should open things up.
And the power game, the deep speed, Jalen Brown, Malik Benson, those two guys, you're not catching them from behind. Like they get on top of the defense, they're gone. Both of them. And it speed kills. So
that's what I'm excited about. Because in the video game, Jalen Brown's like 99.
You're running you just run a jet sweep 100 times a game if it was like the video. I think Norv was playing the video game.
He knows who's the starting man. Because we were saying that about Jalen Brown. I was like, he needs to be in.
Too smooth. You watch him run routes, man. He's probably one of the better route runners on the team already. Just really smooth coming out of that wide receiver spot, dude. A lot like Rashad.
Well, let's go to tight end where you lost.
You lost Jaheim Bell.
Yeah, you lost Bell, but you got Morlock, and I know there's
a lot of hype coming out for Morlock. Consistency again is another word.
Not a lot of it's internal.
It's internal. Staff hype. They're really excited about him. Yeah, but both of the guys that are backing him up are guys that they're kind of in the same boat that the staff is really excited about. They just got to prove it. Brian Courtney and Jackson West, but Morlock, if he puts it together, he's going to be just a huge weapon, literally, figuratively. Like that's what a complete tight end looks like. You're going to lose Jaheim Bell's versatility a little bit, but also he's not on the depth chart. But watch out for the true freshman, the 17-year-old who should be a senior in high school, Amari Williams at tight end. I think
the kid right up in Georgia.
Oh yeah, true freshman. Landon Thomas, you'll see them probably kind of mop up time unless there's a lot of injuries, but still, they got a lot of promise. Amari Williams, man, it's amazing, dude. That kid, he might end up on either side of the ball, but right now they really like him at tight end.
Well, you got Darius, and then you go to left tackle, and
kick inside to the O line.
Yeah,
this is another.
This is the guy.
Yeah, this is Darius Washington. This is
his time to shine.
His time to shine. They're going to give him left tackle. He can play anywhere on the offensive line. His backup, Simmons, that's the guy that looks like an NFL left tackle. 6'8", about 310.
Yeah, I like seeing him firmly at that backup. Though.
Right, and they're both about 310, man. Darius Washington is 6'4", so he doesn't have the height that Simmons does. But I mean, he's got the experience playing tackle. So we'll see. This is, I think he can do it. But if not, you may see him kick inside and somebody else step out to left tackle. So
left guard Richie Leonard, the transfer from
Florida. This is size, man. This is what I'm saying. Like, what's he like 340, 337? Yeah. And this is why they took him. They wanted some beef up front. I'm really hopeful that the interior offensive line will play a little bit better this year than last year. Run game a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, and you're speaking of next to him, your center, Mo Smith.
Mo Smith, right. He runs about 298, 300 pounds.
But that's
the guy behind him is who I'm really excited about. Otto, redshirt freshman, just massive kid out of Key West.
We talked about him in the recruiting trail.
325 pounds, but you would not know it looking at him. The way he carries it is, he's about as athletic a kid lineman on the team. And if you have him at center, then you're going to have an absolutely mammoth offensive line. You're talking about a kid at 325 at center. You're going about.
I think there's guys on this line, and it looks like they're going to rotate.
A whole lot.
Because you look at the next two on the right side, you got two oars that we would discuss, and it starts at right guard with Keandre Jones or TJ Ferguson.
Yeah, and these again, you look at Richie Leonard. TJ Ferguson is from Alabama. Keandre Jones originally transferred from Auburn.
Yeah,
that's three SEC guys on the inside of the line. They want that beef.
That's where and right when they got them, you're just like that. They're playing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We
need it, and then they're going to rotate because another former transfer, Jeremiah Byers, or Robert Scott, who's got to be.
Yeah,
on his 18th year.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that he can do something, man.
Right.
His leg will hold up.
We don't never know if that's going to even amount to how much playing time. But so
when he was healthy, he was great, man.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping he can get back to something like that. Right. But Byers is going to start out there. Jalen Early, the backup, don't sleep on him. I know he's been here for 3 years and he hasn't played a ton of his starting time, but Atkins really likes him. I think they're good at both tackle spots.
Mm-hmm. Well,
this is a deep offensive line. It gets even deeper when you start digging, but they're running 12 guys out there on their depth chart. So
I'm fired up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
I hope so. I hope they do that at Georgia Tech.
They're gonna have to. Their ground game is gonna be crucial this year, man.
Yeah.
But we got the pieces to put together something nice. It's just all about.
I just want to bring along DJ and hopefully, uncover the confidence that he lacks that can bring his game to fulfill the potential that it has. Now, that's saying a lot because quarterback's the hardest position in sports.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Heisman Trophy winners that don't make it in the NFL, and as the game the position becomes more mental, and it's less about what you can do. So I'm excited for the speed, the athleticism on the offensive side of the ball, but it's all going to come down to right in between the ears.
Between the ears, exactly.
And one thing I am excited about, and I know we mentioned it before, is you will have the coaches on the headset this season. I think it couldn't be in a better time.
Yeah.
You got a guy who's had experience in multiple conferences. Now you're going to have that voiced, so we'll have all that recall. I think that's going to be great.
Yep. You got a QB. You got a QB with big game experience.
Yeah.
Like wins or losses, he's been in that moment.
Right.
So that's a definite plus.
Right.
That you're taking into the season with you. It's just it's about it gelling together and
it gets you fired up.
Yeah, it will, man. Let's talk about the defense.
Yeah, and last we hear that, which gets you fired up. Not too long.
We already talked about the D line, man.
Patrick Payton, yeah. It's official.
Yeah.
Joshua Farmer.
Yeah.
And Marvin Jones Jr.
Daryl Jackson.
I'm
excited about that. Farmer and Jackson going to start together. That's a lot of beef inside. I don't know if Farmer's still at 318. He might be a little bit lighter than that, but Jackson is definitely still 330 plus.
Yeah.
And he can move.
They got three guys at each position, each D tackle position. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, and you remember how they did it last year. Year before, you're going to manage that load during the season. You're going to keep guys fresh, for that late season push.
Yep.
And then
we've talked a bunch about D tackle. Go back, download the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Should do that already.
Man. It's probably the best unit on the team.
Yeah.
Defensive tackle.
Well, we moved
borderline elite, dare I say.
Oh, God.
But it's on paper, you gotta play the season.
Yeah. You're gonna let's go to linebacker, and this was another kind of who's going to step up, because you had two guys that, played a lot of snaps in Deloach and Bethune.
Two guys are going to be, Deloach is going to be on the 53-man roster for the Bucs.
Right. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
I know what those two guys meant to this defense, and at a position that has been lacking that guy for I mean,
oh yeah.
Since who? What? Telvin Smith, maybe?
Yeah, I think Telvin was probably the last
elite linebacker,
right? But I mean, Deloach's sack, fumble, return for a touchdown is as elite play from any linebacker in the history of the program.
Oh my goodness, that's what I'm saying. It was a return to consistency last season at that position. It was great to see, but those guys are out of here,
right?
And it's a chance to see some young guys. And let's start at another and we have the transfer Cam Riley from Auburn listed, or Blake Nicholson, the big recruit from California.
Yeah, and I think this, Cam Riley is just the physical presence. They don't have another linebacker like him. 6'5", 235, 240 pounds.
I'm excited about that.
You're going to put him on the field. And Blake Nicholson, if 6'3", 225, like that's pretty big for a true sophomore. And I think he's putting it together. You're going to see him playing a lot. You're going to see, Justin Cryer, you're going to see him playing a lot, the young guy.
You got DeMarco Ward listed you got Cam Riley or Blake Nicholson listed as one, because they only have 2 linebackers listed.
Yeah.
DJ Lundy is your other one, and then backed up by Omar Graham or Justin Cryer.
Right. And
5 guys.
With DeMarco Ward, I mean, he's kind of the odd man out as far as size is concerned. He's under 220, but I think that's going to be a guy that they use in a lot of passing situations.
Out of all those guys, I know DJ Lundy has the most big game experience, and I mean, is one of the best run.
He had a great season. He had a great season against the run last year
in the nation.
Oh, it was
one of the best.
It was huge getting him back from Colorado. That was a big.
We'll see if he can make that improvement in his game to take it to the next level, or if he has that in pass coverage. That is
right. Linebacker is. It's a giant question, kind of like receiver.
The guy I'm most excited about or want to see is Cam Riley.
Yeah. Man, the dude's huge, man. Like, we haven't had a linebacker his size in a while. But cautiously optimistic for the linebackers this year. It's
another position that needs to prove it.
Right. You lose a little bit of athleticism with both Bethune and Deloach, but you pick up some thump. So that's we
go to the secondary. We'll start with the nickel. Kevin Knowles or Earl Little Jr.
Right. I'll start, man. Like, Kevin Knowles apparently has had a really good offseason, man. Really good spring, really good work with Storms, and he carried it into this camp here. So they've been happy with him. There's a lot of bad plays that you got to just forget about, I guess, with him. But yeah, he's an or with Earl Little Jr., the transfer from Alabama. Excited for him. Really, really think that he could probably take over and start in that slot in that nickel eventually.
A lot of guys.
Don't sleep on Jabril Rawls, though.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you got a lot of guys because you got your bookends, you got your Cypress, and you got your Thomas,
corner. You got your outside
Thomas
guys.
and Cypress.
Thomas and Cypress
but inside is where the interest and what are you going to see at a
you lost Greene
Earl Little Jr., Rawls, guys like Edwin Joseph or the new guy Charles Lester III. So
yeah, they got options at corner outside of their top 2. They got plenty of guys that they're excited about. Safety is
let's go to Buck. You got Jaheim Brown.
That's the guy. That's your leader on defense in that back end. I seen things on the internet that have him, outside of the top 50, top 100 safeties in the country, and he's not listed. Whatever. That's the key to the defense right now.
Yeah,
is Jaheim Brown.
I agree.
The way he plays is going to be the way that the defense plays overall. That other safety position,
you got 2 guys listed: Devontae Brown or Conrad Hussey.
Yeah. Hussey got some play last year.
I like Hussey.
He made some plays.
Will he be able to handle that load?
I think bringing him along with kind of a co-starter type of deal here with an experienced player in Devontae Brown. He's a transfer from Miami, but he's played 2-time transfer actually.
Wow.
UCF, then Miami, now at FSU.
Making a state tour.
Right. But he's played a lot of football, so you're hoping that he's got that experience back there. But it's kind of crazy, man. Like this is as deep in terms of guys available and who you can count on that I think Norvell or has had. I think since we've not been in the Jimbo here, I think this is the deepest Florida State has been.
Yeah, he said as much. He said it's the strongest and the fastest. Yeah, and you go off of what you've seen. So there's going to be question marks, but it's also an opportunity to.
Yeah, and the question marks are more about like it's guys replacing
on third down.
Yeah,
on third and long, who are you going to?
Yeah,
that's what it's. I mean, who's going to be the Johnny Wilson? Who's going to make the play? I got one-on-one coverage out here. Throw it to me.
Yeah, yeah.
That connection. I mean, because you're losing a guy that's been here too, and Jordan Travis,
right?
And you saw what the offense looked like without it. And it didn't look good.
Yeah, and there's
but the defense stepped it up.
It's hard to simulate that chemistry.
Defense is going to be. It could be even better.
It could statistically across the board. The defense could be better this year.
So
I don't know that they have.
You want to see the offense play different. They don't need to do the things that they did last year. I'd like to see a different style of offense. I'd like to see a
power run. Man.
Yeah, run the ball.
Take 10 to 12 passes a game.
Ease him into it, and then if he's feeling it, ride it. But
yeah,
I don't want to have.
I think he's better when the run game is the one that's doing most of the heavy lifting, and then he can just kind of play off of that. That's what he did at Oregon State a lot. I think when he got into trouble at Clemson is when everybody kind of said, "All right, DJ, man, you got to go
make the reads, make the play."
Yeah. And if it's not there, you got to do what Trevor Lawrence did or Deshaun Watson.
He'll be without offensive coordinator Alex Atkins for the first game, at least on the sidelines from that.
Right, because we got in trouble for doing what isn't against the rules.
Yeah, that's insane that they're still. But whatever. Do you think that plays a role?
I mean, it'll. The
fact that they've known about it.
Yeah,
you got
known about it, and the fact that his assistant, that Gabe Fertitta, has been here for a few years now. They've worked together for a while.
Right.
He's worked with these kids for a while. So
Norvell calls the plays.
Right. And in terms of the offensive line, like you got a guy that's still there that's familiar with it. I would feel, I don't know. I'd feel differently, I think, if it was on the other side of the ball. As much shit as I've talked about Adam Fuller, like if he wasn't allowed to be at the game or anything.
Well, he had himself a season last year.
Yeah.
And
he did.
And that defense is something that I'm excited about. Adam Fuller deserves all the credit he
really does, man. And I think it was a matter of
the adjustments he's made. He's
got to get rid of the kids that aren't going to listen to me. And, because they were wasting time. The first couple of years was like, man, I'm still playing guys that don't listen to anything I'm saying because, we have to. We got to have guys to play. I think now he's finally got a bunch of players that are pretty much dialed in.
Right. And that's exciting. And you want to hear like the competition and the work, and that's everything. I mean, you see the videos of Mike Norvell running around, compete.
Oh, yeah, he's a madman out there, dude.
And if you got guys just taking on that kind of attitude, that gives me just excitement, man.
I mean, and that's
fired up.
I mean, really, the way that college is now,
like what's going to happen when the game starts, man?
Yeah, I haven't hit it.
Okay. Yeah, and then
I'm gonna beat the shit out of it.
I think Georgia Tech's going to do a lot of
there's
the same kind of thing that
Let's
Florida
get into
State.
It.
Haynes
King.
They got to return like Big Robinson. They got returning offensive line, returning running backs. Experienced quarterback.
Right. And they played Georgia well last year.
Yeah.
And I know that's the rivalry game, pure hate, but that's saying something.
Right.
I know Georgia probably
defense
overlooked
was
them.
their issue last season.
Yeah.
They couldn't really stop anybody. They've brought a few guys in the transfer portal. I don't know any I mean, maybe they can.
What's going to worry you? What's something to watch in the game to look for early on in this matchup that would be a good sign?
Good sign?
Yeah.
Creating turnovers. Turnovers but the ability to run the football, obviously.
Right. If our O-line's getting pushed around.
That's going to either side of the ball if they're getting pushed around, O-line depends on what they're getting pushed around. They're looking like shit in pass coverage. As long as you can run the football, that's kind of been the way that the offensive line has worked. At times you're going to look really bad in pass coverage, but other times you're going to give them enough time to throw as long as you can run the football and stay ahead of the sticks. If we can't run the ball, we're going to be in trouble. But I think if the defensive line,
it's 12.5.
That's high, man. That's a lot. But they're basing it off of last season in Georgia Tech.
Again, Jimmy Reno is a pessimist.
Right. I mean, you're going to,
He's always thinking of the worst case scenario. Yeah. In fact, predicting what was going to happen to Florida State last season.
7-5 at best, right?
No, I'm talking about when we were going through. We were going to win and then lose the ultimate.
Hey, it wasn't just me.
Because
players on the team saying it right after the game.
Well, no, you were saying it weeks before in a pessimistic way, and everybody was, no, shut up. But there was
nobody thought
everybody was, just take care of business. But
nobody thought Georgia was going to lose.
And if you don't think that's still in the back of the players that are still on this team's mind, as Patrick Payton mentioned, it's something that they'll never forget. They'll be 60 years old talking about that. It's gonna chip at them. Norvell's using it as a cheat in it, It's
I really hope that we get to see just out for blood Mike Norvell.
Yeah.
Get up.
Revenge tour.
Some games where he gets up on teams and just keeps doing the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
Till it's 56-0. But you got to take care of Georgia Tech first. It's going to be a toughie, man.
It is. It is going to be
cold and wet.
Yeah, it's going to be in Ireland, and it's going to be Ireland an evening in Ireland, but noon right here, a noon kickoff.
Yeah,
this Saturday. Oh boy,
that's right, man. It's football.
Week 0 game day is going to be there. Oh my God, we got a lot to look forward to, but it's kind of crazy having this big game week 0. You had the LSU game last year.
Yeah.
But it wasn't week 0.
No, it wasn't.
All eyes
will
be on this game.
FAMU's got a game too. They're playing Norfolk State up in Atlanta.
Big game for FAMU.
Up in Atlanta.
New coaching staff.
Is it still is same quarterback? No, I got a new quarterback, don't they? It's that Vertovich kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lot to prove there. We'll have reactions to all that. But man,
it's back, man.
It is back. And we got to get on out of here. Our ride's here. If you haven't done so, go download and subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. It's going to be on YouTube today. Hey. So go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your mom, tell her friends. Tell everybody. Big season. I think we're going to do, as football season starts, maybe 1-2 shows a week, maybe. I know we've been away.
That depends on how the season goes now.
No.
If we start doing 5 shows a week,
no. I think
all hell's
even if it goes bad, that's the time. It might be the best time. So no.
3 shows a week.
Let it out,
the
man.
Run game's not working.
I think it's going to work. I love the the competition amongst the team. I love the competitiveness there because you really have a bunch of positions where guys haven't improved it, and then the guys that have, like a Toafili, is like
it makes me feel like nobody who's been at practice and wrote about any of the practices or what they've seen has really even kind of
they don't let them see much.
Yeah, I know, but they just kind of.
But it's most about like what you feel, you know, the atmosphere.
I think that they're purposefully just like, you guys chill on the run game, right? Like, it's good. Don't be writing that it's good. Seriously. I think the run game is going to be really good this year. Could be completely wrong. I was about most of my NFL picks last year, but I mean...
Yeah, well, it's going to be dangerous. You got speed across the board. You got weapons across the board.
Yeah.
You got an experienced O-line. It better be.
Numbers, man.
I want to see it. I love having a guy like Jalen Lucas, you know, just like throw him in there after they've been banging on Roydell for a few quarters, you know, and then home run hitters that can come in when the defense is tired.
Right. Guy that they've had to take a completely different angle on goes out, and now they're bringing in.
Oh,
run the ball.
Run the damn ball, man. Well, hopefully they do that. We'll be here to react to it for the reaction show, and we'll talk to you then, right here on the North Florida Sports Network.
We had to go. Our ride was here. We got a shuttle to our